This is South Coast Tonight with Chris McCarthy and Marcus Farrow. They've got you covered on all the news of the day, from local issues to politics on both sides of the aisle. This is the place where the movers and shakers come to be heard, to listen, and where they're held accountable. This is South Coast Tonight on WBSM.
Happy Friday and welcome to South Coast Tonight. I'm Marcus. So we've got a full slate for you this evening. We've got Ian Abreu on sometime later in this hour. We have Jack Spillane joining us, the New Bedford Light, at 8 p.m. But first, you heard in the news segment that there was a discussion and a vote in the city council regarding a cost of living adjustment for retirees in the city. We have Lenny how do you pronounce your last name?
It's Baillargeon.
Lenny Baillargeon here, the chair of the New Bedford Retirement Board. So, Lenny, just before we get started, can you tell us what is the role of the Retirement Board in the city?
Okay, the New Bedford Retirement Board is separate and distinct from the city. It is a city function, but it's separate and distinct under Chapter 32 of Mass General Laws. And what it is there are 5 members. 2 are appointed. One is appointed by the mayor or the city. 1 is the auditor by the law. 2 are elected. I'm one of the elected, and the other elected is James Cummer. And then 1 is a neutral 5th party that is selected by the retirement board itself.
Okay.
So that you have a number of 5. So you always have the odd vote in the event. So what the board does is it invests the monies that come in from the retirees that are deducted through their payroll. It also invests the monies that the city provides due to its obligations to the retirement board based on the funding schedule that the New Bedford Retirement Board selects for them.
Okay.
So that's done through an actuarial study every 2 years, and going back, and I've done 3 of them. I'm sorry, going back to 2018, 2020, and the most recent in 2022. We selected the board selected a funding schedule that was beneficial to the city, that wasn't cost prohibitive to the city.
Okay.
We take those monies and we invest it. We have an investment manager, and then we have money managers. And the money managers are the accounts that we have approximately 10 of them. It would be like Lord Abbott. It would be any one of those firms that would take your money and invest it for you. And then the investment manager oversees and guides us and says, look, they're doing poorly. We need to monitor them, or we need to get rid of them and move on to another money manager. So those monies are invested. That's the fiduciary responsibility of the board.
Okay.
The second responsibility of the board is to approve superannuation retirements, review them, and disability retirements.
Okay.
So when we review the disability retirements, we make a decision as whether or not the individual needs to be seen by a doctor, a three-party panel. And then based on the report from the medical panel, the board will vote yay and nay as to whether or not the individual is disabled. And that's the primary role of other than the budget. There's a budget that we approve for the operation of the board. We currently have the executive director, Eric Cohen, doing a marvelous job. On the other shout out to Helen DeForge and Sandy and Mary Lou for the hard work they do down on the board for us. And that's kind of what the board does. We took a vote going back in September to increase the COLA base, which the board is allowed to do.
Sure.
The COLA base was established in 1998 at $12,000. Prior to 1998, it was $9,000.
And just to clarify, point of clarification, COLA is an acronym for Cost of Living Adjustment.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So you you said when you said you're elected, does that mean elected by whom?
I'm elected by the actives and the retired members of the system, not the survivors. The actual retired member. The survivors don't have a vote under the law.
Okay.
So, currently, the total number of people in the system, I don't have this, minus the survivors, but I don't have that, is, 3,790 members.
Okay.
Are eligible, give or take. Let's remove the survivors. The survivors about 300. So
sure.
That would be about 3,490. Make it 3,400 people that would be eligible, that are system members, to vote for their board members.
Okay.
I received the votes. James Comer received the votes, and then as the board meets, the prior chairman, Jim Allen, decided not to run this time because he was going to move out to the West Coast to be with his grandchildren.
Okay.
Then there was an election. Myself and James Comer got elected. After the election, a vote was held to nominate a chairperson. I was nominated to be the chairperson of the board, and I am currently the chairperson of the board. So, in essence, I'm the boss of the board.
Sure. So we're speaking with Lenny Baillargeon. He is the chair of the New Bedford Retirement Board. There was a big vote in the city council yesterday. You started to talk about that a little bit. You back in September had approved a cost of living adjustment for how much? What amount?
To move the base from $12,000, which was established in 1998, almost 25 years ago. It'll be 25 years come 23. So we voted to increase the COLA base to 14,000.
Okay.
And the reason being is, number one, it had been 25 years since the COLA base had been moved.
Sure.
And we were only one of 12 systems out of 102 retirement systems in the Commonwealth that were still at 12,000.
Wow.
So, there currently are 17 systems at 13,000. 30 systems are at 14,000, 15 systems are at 15,000, 13 systems are currently at 16,000, and 5 systems are at 17,000, and 11 are at 18,000.
Okay.
So we felt that 14,000 was...
Now, when you say the base, what exactly does that mean?
So 14,000...
So the base has been increased to 14,000.
Would be increased to 14,000. The first step, and I want to thank the council. I really want to thank the council for their vote yesterday. It was a courageous vote. I think they recognize the needs of the retirees in these times where inflation is really out of control. Gas prices, food prices, energy prices are really out of control. And with the average pensioner in the city of New Bedford collecting approximately $27,000, it was needed. So what happens is $14,000 would be the maximum COLA.
Okay.
Then
I get it.
Under the law, the cost of living adjustment. Then under the law, the board could vote for no COLA increases in a year, or up to 3% on the $14,000 or the $12,000.
I understand now.
So currently, this board voted unanimously for 3% on $12,000, which is $360 a year per member, spread out over 12 months.
Okay.
With the current vote, if it stands through the council, it's going to the full council for the vote, and then it's going to go to the mayor. And what the mayor does with it, I can assume what he's going to do with it, but I'll just leave it at that. And then if he signs off on it, it's approved. If he rejects it, it goes back to the council.
They'll just
override the vote, and it's 2/3 override.
Right, and it was 10-0. It was 10-0 last night, and it would have been 11-0 if Maria Giesta was there, but she, I think, was under the weather. So they had a unanimous vote to send it out of a committee. So the concern that you said that I think that's important to remember. The average COLA the average pension for somebody that's living in the city is $27,000 per year.
That's right. And there's a lot of people that are under that $27,000.
Right. That's right.
Some of your higher paid Unit C employees that retired that are up in the 3 figures bring that average up,
right,
so to speak.
So we're speaking with Lenny Baillargeon. He is the chair of the New Bedford Retirement Board. There was a vote to increase the cost of living adjustment for retirees. The base was $12,000. Now it's on its way to being $14,000. Now, Mayor Mitchell's office had sent, the city government essentially, which is the executive side headed by the mayor, had their Mike Gagney, who's the CFO, and they had an independent, I think some independent analyst there as well, a third party. And what they were saying was that this is cost prohibitive because it's going to cost the people it's going to cost the budget $1 million per year and $13.4 million over the next 12 years. Is it cost prohibitive? Is this cost of living adjustment or the COLA base? Is it cost prohibitive?
So, just my numbers, and I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a bean counter. I'm not an auditor. But based on my numbers, currently, the COLA base per year at 360. 360 times the 1,487 New Bedford retirees. Keep in mind, the city merged there are other members in the system, and I'll give you the names of there's other units in the system. That's the Greater Regional New Bedford Vocational High School with 105 members, New Bedford Harbor Development with 12 members, New Bedford Housing Authority with 112 members, Refuse Management with 14 members, Southeastern Regional Transit Authority with 7 members. There's a total of 250 members out of those that aren't city or school department employees that the city's not responsible for putting into the system. They're responsible for putting in for their people. So there currently is 1,487 retirees in the system, or survivors in the system. $360, doing my math, times 1,487 equals $535,320,000. Okay. That's at the $12,000 COLA base. Increasing it to the $14,000 COLA base at 3% maximum. Keep in mind, it could be a 0, it could be 3. It's how the board votes.
Right.
At one point, it wasn't 3, it was 2.5.
Sure.
Currently, there are 2 members that normally vote on the side of the city, and it's usually, this last time was unusual because I think the city realized the cost was going up, and they agreed to the 3. But normally, the 2 city members, the auditor and the appointee, will vote no on the COLA. Okay. And I understand that. They're protecting the city. They're doing what they're doing the bidding of the city.
That's why they're there.
So my take on this, by increasing the COLA base to $14,000, it equals to $420 a year, which is a difference of $60. Yeah. $60 increase spread out over 12 months is $5 a month for each member. So in survivor. So $420 times 1,487 employees or retirees, equals $624,540. That's in the first year. I understand it's cumulative. Yeah. So that stays when you get that 420, that stays with you. It's cumulative. So that using this as an example, at 50,000, if I'm getting this year, I'm getting 50,420. If a 3% COLA vote on the 14,000 takes place, then it would be an additional 420. It would go to 840. So it'd be $50,840, and so on and so on and so on. That's how you think. Sure. How the city come up with $1 million in its first year is beyond me, because it's less than that.
So that figures a misrepresentation of the actual what you guys have, or basically, or the actual cost.
These are the numbers. The number, to me, the numbers don't lie. I'm just presenting the numbers as is. It's 1,487 current retirees or survivors that the city of New Bedford is responsible for, as well as the retirement board, and doing the math by $420 for a COLA, for a maximum, again, For the audience out there, you got to remember it could be 0, could be 1.
Because you vote every year on whether or not to make it either from 0 to 3% cost of living adjustment.
Right, and it can't exceed the 14,000 unless there's another COLA vote to increase it up to. Right now, you're allowed to go to 18,000. We thought that it was unreasonable, was untenable for the city to do.
Sure.
We felt 14,000 after 25 years, and we gave them until next fiscal year. It doesn't begin until fiscal year 24. So we voted on this in September. Again, the vote was 3 to 2, with the 2 elected members and the 1 neutral who voted for. The 2 city representatives voted no, but it did go through 3 to 2, and it would take effect if the council continues to march on and votes for this. Yeah. It would take effect July of 2024.
We just probably expect that to happen. So but what they were saying last night is the city isn't in a financial position to handle this until the year 2035. What's your position on that?
Well, that's when under the law, again for the audience out there, under the law currently as it stands, all the pension systems within the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, 102, have to be fully funded by 2035.
Okay.
So what Mr. Ekstrom was saying, who was a former retirement board member, who is now a subcontractor for the city, stated is the city can afford it once it's fully funded.
Yeah.
Which is 2035. Do the math. We're now at 2022.
Yeah.
So he's asking for an additional 13 years. Add that on to the 25 years. He's asking the retirees, with inflation rates going up, cost of energy, you name it, across the board. Interest rates.
Everything's more expensive.
You're asking them to wait 38 years.
Yeah.
Most of them are going to be dead.
I was going to say not to be crass, but yeah, they're retirees. So 30 years is, literally a lifetime. So we're speaking with Lenny Baillargeon. He's the chair of the New Bedford Retirement Board. They had a critical vote in the city council to raise the cost of living adjustment base from $12,000 to $14,000. That vote was successful in the finance committee. It goes to a full council vote. That since the finance committee is a committee on the whole and it was unanimous there, it'll probably be unanimous in the full council vote. It'll go to the mayor. Seems like the mayor's going to veto it, but it'll probably go to the council, and the council will override that veto. That's, I think, the summation of it. So, So, Lenny, I appreciate you coming on. I think this is really important. Obviously, you said there's how many retirees and survivors, and just so people don't know, survivors are spouses or children.
Well, I call them the widows and orphans, because that's what they really are. They're widows and orphans.
Okay, so there's about, you said 3,000 or so survivors or retirees in the city that desperately need at least a modest increase in the COLA base, and it looks like the city council's well on its way to doing that. Are there any other important issues that you wanted to bring up with respect to retirees in the city?
Well, just the thing, the cost difference from going from, in the first year, again, I get it, it's cumulative. The cost difference in the first year over the second year, 12,000 versus 14,000, is $89,220. If you deduct take 624, 540, and deduct 535, 320, it's $89,220 increase over last year's COLA increase. And again, there's no guarantees in life. We don't know. The fifth member truly is a neutral. She does a marvelous job for the city.
Sure.
I think everybody on the board does. We may have some disagreements, but I think the board in general works well together. We have a new board member, new auditor, and Emily Opke, a real conscientious individual. Angela Nathau, for the appointee for the city, always there for the city, but conscientious as a board member. We all work together. But you're going to have differences.
Sure.
That's the nature of the thing. But at the end of the day, we all walk away, and we're all friends. At the end, I would consider ourselves friends at the end of the day.
Sure.
So, that's basically it. Like, our system is 52.2% funded. Keep in mind, we're 52.2% funded because the path that we took. We're still going to be fully funded by 2035 by adopting the lower schedule, right?
Sure.
The lower funding schedule. So we'll still be there, but the system suffers at the end because we're not getting to the point where we want to be quicker because we're putting in less into so it's a balance. But we'll still be there at 2035 based on the actuarial studies. They'll be fully funded by 2035 if we keep going the way we're going.
Okay.
It's just that we're getting there slower.
Right.
So when the city brings up, well, they're lower funded, well, we're lower funded because your obligations aren't being met. You know, we're not doing aggressive. Well, you may meet your obligations, but we're not being aggressive with the funding schedule. If we were aggressive with the funding schedule because we're trying to help the city, we would be in the 60, 70 range.
Okay.
As Mr. Ekstrom was talking about yesterday.
Right.
And one of the other things I say is, you know, they were concerned about the funding schedule. Well, Springfield, the city of Springfield is just a little over 30% funded, the worst in the state. They were at 13,000 COLA base for years. They just went to 14,000.
Right.
If they can afford to go, which is a larger system, much larger system than the city of New Bedford, if they can afford to go to 14,000, I'm sure the city of New Bedford can afford to go to 14,000.
Absolutely. So Lenny Baillargeon is the chair of the New Bedford Retirement Board. Again, that was a big vote by the city council that'll likely, after a few more steps, be ratified and will be the cost of living adjustment base from $12,000 to $14,000. And Lenny, I appreciate you coming on, sharing, talking about this, I think, really important issue. I definitely, for a lot of our audience who I know are retirees and retirees in the city specifically. And I look forward to talking with you more in the future about this.
Thank you, Marcus. And I really appreciate you having me on. And again, thanks to the City Council for their courageous vote. Looking forward, going forward and working with them in the future. If need be, I'm always open. So my life's like an open book. So anybody that needs me, I'm always available. I'm a phone call away.
Great. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Friday. Welcome back to South Coast Tonight. I'm Marcus. Got that was Lenny Baillargeon, the chair of the Retirement Board, I think talking about a very important issue. And I know we have a lot of retirees in the audience. So I wanted to have him on and looking forward to more conversations with him in the future. We've got Jack Spillane at 8 o'clock. But first, I see some calls on the line. I'll get to those at 508-996-0500. But first, we're joined by New Bedford City Council President Ian Abreu to talk about a special event he has going on. Hey, Ian.
Hi, Marcus. Good evening. Thanks for having me on. And I know you've got callers who want to get on, so I'll be very quick. I just wanted to, and again, thanks for giving me the chance to promote this. Tomorrow morning, starting at 10 a.m., from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Kilburn Mill, located at 127 West Rodney French Boulevard, of course, in the south end of the city. Myself, the folks at the Kilburn Mill, and AFC AdCorp, we're happy to be providing the community with free turkeys with all the trimmings and fixings that go with it tomorrow at the mill from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. for those in our community who may be in need. It's no questions asked when you come, and we do operate on the honor system. But if you or anyone that you know of that may be listening right now is in need of a great meal this Thanksgiving, stop on by the mill between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. They will be given out on a first-come, first-served basis. So, if you are in need or know someone in need, I'd get there as close to, or at least at 10 o'clock, as close to it as possible, because for all you know, there could be a big line, and the mill we could be out by 10:30. So I'd get there as soon as possible.
So that is you said it'll be 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Kilburn Mill, and it's you guys are giving out turkeys?
Yes, it'll be on the first floor of the mill. So when you walk in, for example, in the main stairs in the ramp, Doco, New Bedford Dough Company, the restaurant would be to your left. The main hallway is there with the stairs that go up to the second and the third floor. just hang a right in the main lobby, and the desk and the tables will be right there with the turkeys, with all the fixings. So please come, not only just get a turkey and go, but there'll be all the sides that go with it. And again, it's no questions asked. And it's just something nice for the community. We're happy to do it. And this is something that actually started during the COVID-19 pandemic back in 2020 with myself and AtCor and the Kilburn Mill, and we've kept it going ever since. So this is the third year running doing this, and we're looking to expand it as well. We're talking about doing something similar for Christmas. So
great.
When the Christmas season comes, I'll be sure to call in again if you allow me, and we can talk about that at that point as well.
You know what, Ian? I will allow you. I'll allow it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, Mark.
So Ian, you also have. So I know you're advertising with us the Silmo syrup. You have a holiday pop up coming up next week. I remember when you brought that to Chris and me on Christmas Eve when we were here at the station, and it was very good. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure, thank you. I'll be recording my my commercial next week, actually, and I'll be on with Tim in addition to my council slot, but to promote it as well. So, yeah, it'll be on Saturday, December 3rd. So it'll be one weekend after Thanksgiving at, again, believe it or not, the Kilburn Mill, because I'm partnering with them. They're allowing me to rent and use their lobby space down on the first floor, which is wonderful. It'll be from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. or for as long as the product lasts. We are making enough for 500 pints, so 500 pints, and that will be first come, first serve as well. Most New Bedfordites and South Coast residents who are at least over 30 recall and remember Silmo syrup. It's, in my opinion, the best coffee syrup around because we don't use fake extracts. We are the real deal. We were organic before it was cool and in vogue to be organic, and I think it comes out in the taste. People will experience it. They'll enjoy it. And I got to tell you, we created an event on Facebook just to get some buzz. In a half a day, we already have over 260 RSVPs for people who want to go to this. So it's going to be a great pop-up again, Saturday, December 3rd, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Noon. But, of course, we'll be there as needed a little bit longer if we have to fill the need. So similar to that, based on the buzz that we're hearing out there, if you really want to get some Silmo and reminisce, I'd get there as close to 9 as possible because we may have quite a line at this thing. So we'll see how it plays out. But I appreciate you allowing me the chance to talk about that as well. We'll be, I know folks will be hearing my commercials on your station next week, and that should be an exciting time. I got to tell you, it's been a really good exercise for me as an elected official and as a city council president to have gone through the process of opening a small business.
Of course.
We hear the plight of our constituents about whether it's bureaucracy or red tape at the state, local, or federal level. We hear about the permitting processes and all of that. But unless you really do it, Marcus, you don't understand. You can say, yeah, and go to bat and try to help, and I have, and we do. But unless you really do it, you don't understand. And now I really understand. And my love and affection for all of our small business owners in New Bedford has grown tenfold because I've lived it myself. And it's certainly a tip of the cap to all of them.
So, Ian, before I let you go, a little bit of city business I got to ask. So I have a column up on WBSM.com people can check out, but when I had Mayor Mitchell on, he casually brought up the dates he had heard about the special election to replace Hugh Dunn on the city council.
Yep.
So those dates are February 28th for the general, January 24th for the preliminary. That's got to go for your approval, but there would probably be no reason that you'd adjust those dates, right?
No, those are the appropriate dates that our clerk had set with us, and we had to send it over to the election commissioner, but we're the ones who set the date and order the election, so we're going to be ordering that next Tuesday as a normal part of our business to fill the seat. Got a lot of people reaching out to me, and I know to the media that are at least considering throwing their hat in the ring. I can pretty much guarantee you we are going to have a preliminary.
Yeah.
I know you and I were chatting the other day. There's at least 4 to 5, maybe even 6 solid names of people who either are about to run or are confirmed to run. So This is going to be an exciting time for Ward 3. And if you're a Ward 3 resident, you're also a constituent of mine as I'm a counselor at large. But so to all my friends in Ward 3, I would just tell you, listen to the platforms of all these candidates, do your homework, ask the tough questions, and please go vote. Vote accordingly. Special elections typically don't draw a high turnout, but this one really deserves a high turnout because we need to fill the seat right away. Councilor Dunn is leaving. We'll have 10 members on the council for 2 months. So what does that mean? Well, that means
gridlock.
If we vote on an item and it ties at 5-5,
Yeah.
ties fail. Tied votes fail.
Okay.
So 6-5 votes swing the pendulum on important items one way or the other. I would know I'm the recipient of a 6-5 vote for the council presidency.
It's true.
So
Yeah.
No one knows the importance of a 6-5 vote more than I do, Marcus.
So Ian, just one more thing. Like, what was your experience working with Councilor Dunn while he was on the council, and what are you looking for qualities in his successor?
Yeah, Councilor Dunn was always very professional with me. Whenever we were in meetings together, especially when he was the ordinance chairman, for which I gave him the chairmanship again this year as council president. I found him to be very diligent and professional, performed his duties. I would say for his successor, the name of the game is really constituent service. And I know when we have these debates for council seats or for the mayor's office or whatever, we get asked the questions by you guys in the media about the real complex, high-level stuff like the advanced manufacturing park on Hathaway Road or the Hicks Logan redevelopment area or some real big, important issues like police contracts and whatnot. But at the end of the day, especially if you're a ward counselor, constituent service is really the name of the game. You have to be responsive. You have to be engaged in the neighborhoods. You have to have your sleeves rolled up. Potholes, streetlights, quality of life issues, infrastructure-related matters. You've got to have a great working relationship with the local area police captains and our police chief and our fire chief and district chiefs and the folks at our Department of Public Infrastructure. Because if you don't, we're not going to get things done for our constituents. So you have to be able to go in and not only work with your colleagues and the mayor when appropriate, but you've got to work with your city department heads because if you can't, you're not going to get anything done. So that's my recommendation to anybody running for office. Really, you need to key in on and focus on taxpayer constituent services. And, I've done pretty well on that mantra. I know other past counselors have done well with that as well, making sure that you're immersed in the neighborhoods. And that's my recommendation. And I think I've had some moderate success at the ballot box here in New Bedford. So I hope if people are thinking about running for office in Ward 3, they may want to take heed to my advice.
Hey, Ian, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Have a great weekend, Marcus. Thank you.
You as well. 508-996-0500. Good evening.
Oh, hey, Marcus. This opportunity, you should have asked the counselor what he thought about the cost of living adjustment.
Well, he was in favor of it. I heard him talk about it this morning on Tim, so I
Oh, all right. I missed that. A very important issue. I'm glad you're addressing it. 52 and change percent of funded liability might be better than Springfield, but it still leaves 47 plus unfunded,
sure,
which is a huge burden. And I believe so. It sounds like it's about 13 years. They're going to have to 12 fiscal years. They're going to have to fix this.
Yep.
The only place they can go for that is the property owners, unless there's some federal intervention. And it's I think what it lends itself. Actually, what I would have liked to know. He said 27,000 average. Really would have been interested of average pension. Really would have been interested in what the median is.
Yeah.
But and also how that cost of living adjustment applies. So if you have a $100,000 a year pension or a $10,000 a year pension, you're not going to get the same cost of living adjustment.
Right.
And I think it's really important to keep addressing this issue because it is the elephant in the room. Some municipalities across the country are in really tough shape to the point where they might have to go into receivership.
Yeah. It's happened to a few communities here at certain points. Actually, even there were certain aspects of the Boston city government, like the school department, that had to go into receivership because of mismanagement. So that can happen for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I think...
Hey, listen, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm so behind on breaks. Can you call back?
All right, Mark.
Call back.
But keep after it. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Just, give me a call back. I'm behind on breaks, so I got to take them.
Listen to us live anywhere in the world on the WBSM app.
Did you know?
Marcus McCarthy. South Coast Tonight is the place to react to all of the day's news and where they make some news of their own.
I'm in the right place.
Back to the talk now on WBSM.
Hey. Welcome back. Actually, I see Jack Spillane in the window, so I'm going to go let him in. I'm going to take this break, and we'll be right back.
I said it here. The WBSM app is
first hour, and I'm here with Jack Spillane. Hey, Jack.
Hey, how are you?
Just get 2 minutes, and you're out at 8.
Story of my life.
So, Jack, we were just talking about it. You can check my column out on WBSM.com. We'd gotten the dates for the Ward 3 special election. The January 24th is the preliminary, and February 28th is the general. Quick turnaround. I think difficult for people who need to get name ID.
Yeah, it is. I haven't heard too many names yet. I was wondering if Henry Bousquet might give it another run. I know there's.
If he jumped in, it'd be his to lose. But I think that he's still at Vogue, right?
Yeah,
so it's probably still the same issues.
He still wouldn't be able to get paid. Yeah,
I thought that was. I didn't agree with that decision. I think by the ethics commission, to rescind his pay, but he did it. He went for as long as he could, doing that job for free, and it's a lot to do for free.
Well, here's why I never understood that. George Rogers worked at Vogue forever.
Yeah,
I'm sure George Rogers got paid.
Yeah, not the best model.
No, but just from a precedent.
Right, yeah, I understand. So, yeah, we're just finishing up here. We've got about 15 seconds until, and I'm just filibustering until that clock here strikes 30. Yep. So the satellite kicks in, and when it does, we'll be joined on the other side of the 8 o'clock hour with Jack Spillane of the New Bedford Light.